So we have formatted columns, we've formatted cells. Let's look at formatting groups of data. To do this, we're going to go ahead and revisit the expenses that we imported earlier. And you'll see that's still in pretty raw form. Let's go ahead and add a title to this first of all so we know what we're looking at. So if you recall, if I select 2 rows and I click Insert, it's going to insert 2 rows at a time. So we'll go ahead and insert our rows. Now we'll enter our title. These are expenses after all. But we want it to be centered across the entire width of the data, so I'll select that entire width. And I'm going to go ahead and merge those cells, and I'm going to center the text within it. Okay, now that I've done that, I can go ahead and let's say we want to format this data to be a little bit more presentable. I can format this as a table, and I can select one of the pre-formats. Let's see, we'll go with green. And we now have it very easily and recognizably displayed as a table. Let's say we're kind of clipping off the end of some of these and our date isn't wide enough to be displayed. That's why it's showing up as numbers, by the way. If it can't display the whole thing, it just puts those number indicators or pound indicators. If I double click on the separator with multiple columns selected, it's going to auto size each of them. We learned that last lesson. So now we can actually look at something a little bit more legibly. And now that I'm in here, I can notice that there's some other features. We will revisit tables later, by the way. But for now, let's go ahead and format some of the numbers within. These numbers over here are actually monetary figures. So why don't we go ahead and display that as currency? So under this drop-down, it allows us to select what is our data that we're actually formatting. We can display it as currency or accounting. We'll go do it as currency. Now we have dollar formats with cents, and we don't get additional decimal places, or we don't get the cents chopped off. Over here we have some dates, but let's say we don't want to display them in this format. There we can select a date. Some of the easy ones to access are short date or long date. But there's actually a lot more options about how we can display things if we go down to more number formats. You'll notice now I have a lot more choices about what date format I want to use. I can use a very long format, or I can use some combination or some abbreviations that are used in some industries or countries or other places. You might find something that's a little bit more accommodating. I could choose this format, for example, and now all my numbers get displayed, or all my dates within this area or range get displayed in that format. So now let's go ahead and apply a formatting. We'll choose a different date format, first of all. We'll go with short date. And if I wanted to copy that formatting to multiple cells, I can use the Format Painter. I click on the paintbrush, and it'll copy it once. If I wanted to copy it to multiple cells, I could, once again, this time I'm going to double click on the paintbrush. And for each additional cell now that I click on, it's going to apply that same formatting or range of cells. And to turn that off, I hit the paintbrush again, and it's gone. Now, let's say I'm unsure about one of my items of data within here and I want to revisit it later. I want somebody to take a look at it. If I highlight the row or range, then I can use the highlight or flood fill in this case, and it's going to highlight that row so somebody come and revisit later. So we have the ability to manipulate groups of data by using tables and applying table formatting. Once again, we'll revisit that in the power of tables later. And we can quickly format data to be displayed as, be it text or currency or scientific data. There's all sorts of different formatting we can apply. So we'll revisit a little bit more information about formatting and conditional link formatting later, but for now, why don't I give you a chance to take a look at some of these things.